Welcome to the Around the Diamond podcast with your host Reed Bauer, co-host Sandy Johnson to my right, and co-host Ethan Nightneighbor to my left. Welcome to 107.5 Atlanta Station. So today, our topic will be this draft that just happened, specifically the first round. We have a lot of amazing draft picks that came out, especially a lot of Georgia natives, including Drew Jones, Tamar Johnson, and Dylan Lesko, just to name a few. So, what are your thoughts on Drew Jones, Sandy?
I think Drew's a great player. I think he has the most upside in the draft. Like, he will be the most talented player to come out of the draft, and I think that he might not be the most MLB ready because he's just coming out of high school, but I think that overall he'll be just the best available player with defense, offense, speed. What are your thoughts, Ethan?
See, Drew is a true five-tool player. This man has speed, arm strength. He can hit, he can run, he can do everything imaginable. Plus, he's the son of Andrew Jones. For crying out loud, this man is a Hall of Famer in about maybe three things. Atlanta Sports Hall of Fame, Baseball Hall of Fame. Hell, I'm expecting him to probably be in his country's Hall of Fame and get like a presidential medal or something. And Drew Jones is going to be the next big thing. I'm already comparing him, and I think he could honestly be better than Ronald Acuna, Mike Trout. He could be up there for one of the greatest center fielders of all time if he is just used right by the Diamondbacks. It was truly a great pick. I cannot believe that he slipped. I really do think that the Orioles made a big mistake not picking him first. Terrible decision by the Orioles. I don't know how you can possibly screw this up. It is the best prospect coming out of high school in probably the last 20 years. It's ridiculous. I mean, you go ahead and tell us your thoughts.
I mean, I think he has the highest ceiling out of everybody taken in that first round, and I think that he will be a great player. So next, we got Jackson Holliday, the first overall pick. He hit .685 in high school and is son of Matt Holliday, former MLB player who played for a very long time. I think he also has a pretty high ceiling, but I think Drew Jones was still the better pick. But we'll see what Jackson Holliday has to offer in that middle infield spot. What are your thoughts on him?
I think Jackson's a good player. I'm a little worried about the power in the MLB. I mean, obviously playing shortstop, so that's you don't have to have a lot of power there. But, I mean, I would say he's going to hit for some high average. He's going to knock you in some runs. But I just don't think he's going to hit you the home runs the Orioles are expecting. If I were the Orioles, I would have taken Drew Jones 100%. I think they messed that pick up. Like I said, Jackson Hollister's a great player. I just don't think he's the number one pick. Ethan, what are your thoughts?
Jackson Holliday, son of Matt Holliday, former All-Star, former MLB player. A great player in general. Jackson Holliday, he does not have a lot of pop in that bat. He is a contact hitter. He drives in runs. You could almost call him Freddie Freeman, if you will. He is not exactly a carbon copy, but this man drives in runs. He does not hit home runs. He is a run creator. He gets people off of the base, and he gets himself on the base. He does not have round trippers very often. Sure, he hit around 19 home runs in high school, but still, that number is going to vary in the minors and majors. It's a completely different ballgame. And even then, I don't think anybody's going to take him seriously, considering that you're coming in at that number one pick as you just rose up the draft board. It's Trayvon Walker all over again from the NFL. You're rising up the draft boards late after a good performance late in the season, but the ceiling, it's just not as high as other prospects. I wouldn't say it's an outlandish pick. He's definitely a top 5 talent, but the Orioles made a big mistake here selecting him at number 1. I will say Drew Jones is the better player. He will be the best player out of this draft class. I'm telling you all now. All right. So it seems as though that we have a caller. Chad from Chad. All right, Chad. So what's your question?
Hi guys. I was wondering, do you guys think you're maybe overrating Drew Jones a little bit?
All right, I'll start with this. I don't think so personally. He has such a high ceiling. He still has so much to grow, and he can still develop so much. He has a lot to learn. And with his dad being a big mentor in his life, especially with him now going into pro ball, I think that'll really help him, and I think he can get to the major leagues in maybe 2 to 3 years. But we'll see. What do you have to say about that, Sandy?
I don't really think you can really overrate Drew Jones yet. I don't think you can properly rate him just because he's 18 and he's just coming out of high school. So I think from what we've seen in high school, he's going to be a great player, but you haven't seen that in the minors yet. So I don't think we're overrating him. I just think we're putting him in a place just based on how good he is off of high school. And I think the Diamondbacks have a really good system, so I think he'll be able to learn from some of the other guys like Corbin Carroll. He'll just be able to learn from what they have had to say about the minors.
Well, see, Drew Jones, he's the son of Andrew Jones. Andrew is still a very active member in the Braves organization. He can be mentored by people like Marcell Ozuna, who has just got a lot of power in that bat, but he's not doing too well right now, as it's pretty obvious from his stat line. There's Ronald Acuna. There's Eddie Rosario, Adam Duvall. There are so many options where he can just learn from great players that have a ton of experience in the show, but as well as people on the Diamondbacks. Say Corbin Carroll, Seth Beer, a lot of those players can also teach him what to do. But I'm telling you, overrated is not the word. He honestly has the highest ceiling. He has potential to be one of the greatest players of all time. Like I said, 5-tool player. He can throw, he can run, he can hit for contact, he can hit for power. He can do it all. Sure, coming out of high school, it's much more different in the minors, but I'm telling you right now, in single A, he is going to tear it up. There is no possible way that you can overrate this man just with how high his ceiling is. His potential is unlimited, and already he's just a great player coming out of high school.
All right. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Around the Diamond podcast. Signing off for now, Reed Bauer, Sandy Johnson, and Ethan Neineighbor. See you later.